Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of TV is Our Real Mom. I'm Dave,
I'm Catie.
and in this episode, we are going to discuss The Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 3, entitled Thank You. And before we get started, I just want to say there's probably going to be some major spoilage, as there probably has been major spoilers in everything we've talked about. We just haven't really warned about it in the past, but I feel like we kind of need to this time.
Yeah, or do we?
I don't know. If you're watching this, you probably watched the episode. But
Yeah,
hey,
I don't think anyone's watching who doesn't know what's going on. So.
yeah, just to be safe though, major spoilers coming up. And where does the episode title come from, Catie?
The episode title comes from a scene near the end of the episode with Nicholas. Oh my gosh, I forgot his name. Nicholas and Glenn. I mean, the whole episode, Glenn is basically telling Nicholas, trying to get him to think on his feet, to be part of this world, to baptize him into this world that Glenn has gotten so used to. And by the end of the episode, Nicholas realizes what Glenn has done for him, despite the fact that they got off on very bad feet, on a bad foot. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so he says thank you. When they're in kind of a shitty situation, he looks at Glenn and says thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And something happens after that. Are we ready to get into that right away, or do you want to wait a little bit?
Well, I feel like, yeah, the heart of this episode is what happens there. So, I mean, why don't we just get right into that, talking about that, what happens there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, right after Nicholas says thank you, he takes the gun in his hand and he shoots himself because he sees how horrible it is and how, kind of SOL they are at that moment. They're standing on top of the dumpster. There's, thousands, not thousands, but dozens, maybe 100 zombies down there waiting for them. There's no way out. There's barbed wire high up on the fence that they can't even get to. And so he says, thank you, for trying to make me be a brave and better person, but I'm checking out. And he shoots himself in the face or the head.
Yeah.
We don't really see. But unfortunately, the force of his body grabs Glenn and drags him down into the waiting walkers with him. And it's not good. It's very upsetting. The imagery is very upsetting.
Yeah, no, it was very sad. I still thinking about the episode. I still feel kind of sad about it. Whatever they were going for there, I feel like they pulled it off. I mean, I feel like they got the emotion they were going for with Glenn's.
Yeah, they had the
supposed death.
Yeah, they had it was a really great shot. They had the minimal violin sad music in the background.
Yeah.
And you just saw Glenn's face really reacting to what was happening, which was the walkers descending upon him and body parts, blood going everywhere.
Yeah.
Glenn's look of shock registering on his face.
Yeah, I mean, amazing acting by the actor. He really delivered that.
Yeah, and it was very it was upsetting, to say the least. I screamed in my apartment. I said, no, but I don't know, but there's talk that maybe we didn't see everything. So
yeah,
what do you think about that?
I don't know. It sure looked to me like he was. I mean, I was pretty much like, oh, Glenn died, because I kind of expected that this season. I think we've even talked about it in our previous episodes. We've talked about feeling like Glenn was going to go, and we even did have that discussion about Nicholas, and you kind of made me realize how Nicholas was really just like a tool in the writer's hands to bring Glenn down, basically.
Which literally is what happened.
Yeah, exactly. And you made me realize that. I agreed with you, and I didn't realize it would happen that soon. But yeah, here it is this week.
Yeah, I didn't. When I was watching it too, it didn't even dawn on me that it could be a possibility that he didn't die. I mean, there's no way you get out of that. There's no way you're, I don't know. There's no way. I mean, it didn't even register to me that that's a possibility. But then you go online afterwards because, that's part of if you're a fan of a show, you always, not always maybe, but you read the recaps, you read interviews, especially when something big happens like that. So you want to get to the bottom of it. And then you see that so many people are either in denial about Glenn dying because he's kind of beloved by a lot of people, or they have actual, an actual good point that maybe he's still alive. But I don't know. I mean, he looked pretty dead to me. I mean, not physically dead, but like he would be dead in a matter of minutes.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm almost leaning towards he's not dead yet, at least, because.
Okay, so explain how he gets out of that.
Okay, I think Nicholas's body obviously fell on top of him.
Right.
You can actually see. I just rewatched the scene. You can actually. I think Nicholas was wearing a white shirt or something. You can actually.
Nobody has a white shirt on in the zombie apocalypse. I mean, it's not white anymore.
let me take a look here, but it looks like he's wearing like a jacket over a white shirt. Let me see. No, he's not wearing a white shirt. But it whatever I saw, it looks like Nicholas's clothes. There's a little pump that comes up into the camera. And so he's obviously still on top of Glenn, and that's like the first place. To me, that's the first place the zombies go to start feasting, is the guy on top. And so they're digging in. So I think Glenn is like freaking out, like, oh my God, this is bad. But I mean, he could very well just like roll under the dumpster.
Sure, and you see the whole time that intestines, which aren't, high on your body, and that's kind of what they're showing, but there's intestines flying around.
There are intestines in his face, and it's someone else's. It's someone else's.
But also you see Glenn's face still, he's still reacting and having emotional reactions. Once your stomach's been ripped open, I mean...
Yeah, you're not crying. You're not
crying and having emotional reactions. That's not what I'm debating here. What I'm debating is, what is the likelihood he gets out of this without some kind of bite or something? I mean, it's pretty slim looking to me that Glenn's gonna be much longer in this world.
It's interesting because, in that sense, I guess maybe they're just giving him a slow death instead of, like he's just gone this episode. Instead, it's like, get ready for Glenn to be gone. They're like giving the fans a chance to let him go, kind of.
Yeah, and that's where I have a problem with this week's episode, is that I feel like they're so eager to, get us talking or have some kind of reaction, elicit some kind of reaction from the community, that this was kind of a cheap trick, maybe. Like, if Glenn's really going to die, he deserves to be sent out in the fashion that we're used to big characters going out in, he deserves some kind of story credit. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it was very unceremonious the way it went down. And it's also kind of cheap for the showmakers to just keep saying, oh, maybe he's dead, maybe you'll see him again, who knows. It's just, I don't like it. It's a way of toying with the viewers' emotions, and I feel like, okay, you don't watch Game of Thrones, David, do you?
No, I got like up to season 2, but I'm sure we'll end up podcasting about that at some point.
Probably, but I'm just gonna, without giving any spoilers to you and any Game of Thrones non-fans who might be watching.
There's spoiler coming up because I'm gonna drop something. I
didn't get to finish my point.
There's like a Jon Snow thing, isn't there?
Yeah, there's major shades of Game of Thrones season 5 finale here, and I almost feel like they were trying to because that was a big deal when that happened. Whatever it happened, that was pretty. That was the water cooler moment of probably the year as far as TV shows go. So I feel like they were almost trying to do that, trying to copy that, because they're similar type characters that you like, that you root for, but I just don't like the way they purposely are leading us on.
Isn't it called the bait and switch or something like that?
Yeah. Where they're like, oh, Glenn's dying. Oh, never mind, he's still alive, or he's a zombie, or he's gonna die soon. Either way, I think it's kind of cheap.
Yeah, I feel like they haven't really done it much in the show up until this point, have they? I mean,
no, but that's the thing with a show like this. You have to find, I suppose, new ways to get watchers to react to a character's death, because it happens so much on this show that, it's to the point where you don't even care that much when characters die unless it's someone like Glenn. So that's why I feel so weird that they kind of, it's not even an actual death. We can't actually mourn it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Or should we? I don't know.
I feel like every show gets to use the bait and switch at least one time. Everybody gets one.
Okay.
And this was they're using it up because they have to use it at some point. So.
But what happens if it comes back in a couple weeks, because they're going to show Morgan next week? What happens if it comes back and he's just actually dead? And we're like, oh, I guess we shouldn't have gotten our hopes up.
I don't know. I don't know.
That would be
I don't know
right.
How I feel
that would
about
be
it.
Pretty depressing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because to be honest, I personally had already kind of come to terms with it, and then I watched Talking Dead, and
that's, he wasn't gone.
Yeah, and that's actually what kind of got me thinking, oh yeah, maybe he didn't actually die then. Okay. I honestly was just like, oh, they killed him. Okay.
I think that they're going to show some kind of flashback thing with him and Maggie to give some kind of closure to their love story, and then they'll show him actually dying or something. I don't know. I think he's going to die because of this incident. They just haven't officially shown it yet.
Yeah, okay. That seems fair. I think there's a possibility he rolled under the dumpster as far as what he can do from there. There's all kinds of things that could happen. Someone could, some loud noise could happen. Well, what about the feeds?
Yeah.
What about the feed store? Isn't someone going to oh, that's what they were supposed to do, huh?
The feed store was already burned down. That's what started this whole thing in the first place.
That's right. They get there and they're like, oh, and then they had to think of another place to burn down or something, and then they got.
Yeah, and before they got to it, the walkers that were following the horn all come at the same time, and it's just a shitstorm.
Yeah.
And this is what happens when you try to be the moral compass for a group that shouldn't have a moral compass. Is if he had not been babysitting Nicholas and come on, Nicholas, you can be a hero. You don't have to be a killer. If he hadn't been doing that, he'd be fine. But because he has to, save Nicholas's soul, he's dead probably.
Maybe. We don't know. He's under the dumpster, so
he's not. It's not looking good for him. We can say that.
No, it's not. Like I said, maybe some loud noise or maybe somebody does something and the horde goes the other way and he manages to just stay under there the whole time. We really don't know.
Yeah.
And it is kind of annoying because you kind of want to just you want Glenn, if he's gonna be killed, that's that. Some closure. Mm-hmm. Some closure would be nice, but.
Yeah. Another thing I read is that his death apparently. Oh, spoiler for comic book readers. His death in the comic books is apparently such a big deal that it would be weird if they wouldn't show it that way on the show. That's what I've heard, because I haven't read that far into the comics. But
okay, I think Talking Dead actually that they were referring to something else, I guess, in Talking Dead. They were talking about Rick's potential. Did he get bit or something, or no? What was it? He got cut. His hand got cut. And so they're referring to something else that happens in the comics that I don't read the comics, so I had to I am sort of inferring what they were trying to say. Even though they were trying not to spoil it for people, I think they spoiled it anyways. Because so once again, possible spoiler here. I'm assuming Rick gets his hand cut off at some point. And
he does in the comic books.
Yeah, he ends up with a hook for a hand or something like that. Or something.
That's awesome.
Is that what happens?
That would be very. I don't know.
Oh, you don't know the comic books. Okay, you don't know.
But I think I don't know that they'll do that. They might give it to someone else. They like to do that on the show, is give someone else's fate to a different character.
Okay.
Just to mix it up and keep people guessing. So I don't know if they'll do it to Rick. But he did cut his hand, but I think the only way they cut it off is if it was bit by a walker.
Yeah. This was a cut, and they were talking about potential, because supposedly,
infection.
Yeah, he got some blood, some walker blood in the cut or something like that. That's what they were saying.
Oh no.
Yeah, so that's why they're saying this could be the beginning of the introduction into that part of Rick's.
Well, he'd have to cut it off right quick because once it gets into your bloodstream, it doesn't matter if you cut your hand off.
That's true. What was the deal with the carrot food, the baby food?
I think it was just to indicate that those people had come from Alexandria, where they had such things. Because Rick doesn't know that it's the wolves that went into Alexandria. He thinks the zombies or whatever, the walkers, have gone in there. So maybe the baby food is a sign that they're in trouble. Yeah,
I think I remember something about, what's the name of the scout guy? The
Aaron?
Yeah, I think Aaron. Something about he showed them baby food when he was trying to talk to them and recruit them to get them to trust him.
Applesauce.
Yeah, and it was baby food supposedly.
No, it was just applesauce.
Just applesauce? Okay, never mind. All right. I don't know.
I don't know.
I want to say it's baby food because I almost think the Talking Dead did like one of those little like trivia things, or like the carrot food is supposed to be a connection to the applesauce that he showed him. That's why I think it's baby food, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
Okay. If you say so.
Talking Dead says so, so it must be right.
Well, I don't watch Talking Dead, so I don't know these things. I don't.
You gotta start. You should watch it.
Yeah, so I've heard Chris Hardwick's a funny man, so
yeah,
I should. But
he's good.
I get my fill of Walking Dead with the one episode. It's enough. It's usually pretty depressing, usually pretty dark, and that's enough. It's enough for me. And talking about it.
And you're a lot more sharp than I am. You pick up on all this stuff on your own. I need someone else to remind me of stuff. So that's
like Chris Hardwick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So how do you feel about, let's say Glenn's dead. Let's just say he's dead. Okay, just for the sake of having an answer.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you feel about Glenn being dead?
I don't know. I'm kind of sad about it, honestly. Like when I watched it, I was sad. Like I know just a little bit ago, I was like, oh, okay, Glenn's dead. That's not really how I felt. I actually felt pretty sad. The acting by, what's the actor's name?
Stephen Yen? I don't know how to say his last name.
Stephen Yen?
Yoon or Yen? Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember. But I thought he did a really good job because I just felt like really bad for him. Like, and that's the thing about this show is like the character, just following along with the character for this long. You just feel bad when they come to their end because it's like it's been such a long journey for them and it's heart-wrenching, So I really feel sad about it. I do.
I always find it disturbing when you think of how hard they worked to not die at the hands of a zombie when something like that happens, when the zombies just descend upon them. It just shows how kind of pointless it is to try and keep running away from these things when they're probably going to get you eventually. I mean, it's only a matter of time. But at the same time, they always go out on these fool errands, that get them in these situations.
Yeah, they should stop doing these crazy errands and they'll be fine.
Yeah. But I do think that Glenn changed so much over the course of the show that, I wasn't as sad as I would have been because Glenn was one of my favorite characters at the beginning. And I don't know what, it's not like that I completely dislike Maggie, but it's just the two of them together, they become, I don't know. I feel like when you have Walking Dead, when you have people in a relationship, they become less interesting somehow. No,
I totally agree, and maybe it's just the way it is with romance in this environment in the show. It just kind of takes something away. I don't know why, but I tend to agree with you. Because I feel the same way. I feel like Glenn and Maggie have kind of become the annoying characters over the last couple seasons that you kind of I think you and I used to say like we actually like wanted to see Glenn or Maggie get killed off, So then we finally get our wish, and it's kind of sad,
Well,
but
the same thing happened when Lori died. I was waiting for her to die since season 1, and when she finally died, well, it was kind of a relief. The way it happened, it was also like, oh my God, like how could you not react to that? But with Glenn, when he was this nerdy pizza boy, I mean, he was quirky, he had a personality. When he got with Maggie, it was just about Maggie and keeping Maggie safe.
Yeah.
And that's boring to me. And I guess my favorite characters on The Walking Dead are kind of the loners. Daryl, Michonne, and Carol, who wasn't a loner at first, but through the course and circumstances of the zombie apocalypse became a loner and became all the better for it. So
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it says something a little messed up about us that we like the loners, but Glenn became a different person to me, and I don't mourn his death as much as I would have a couple seasons ago.
Yeah, I do not rule out the possibility that we are the weird ones here. Catie.
Oh, definitely not. We should never rule out that possibility. I think there's a lot of people that root for Glenn and Maggie, so I'm just not one of them.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you more, though, that they got annoying the more, Yeah, so.
Yeah, all right, well, if this is Glenn's last episode, farewell, Glenn. You were pretty cool.
Yeah, sad to see him go.
Yeah.
But he's not.
He was a very attractive man. I thought he was a very attractive man.
He's okay.
Okay, I suppose other stuff happened in this episode we should maybe touch on.
Yeah, like what?
The Heath and Michonne and that stuff. I mean,
their little argument, their heated little argument.
Yeah, Heath was sure offended when Rick said that, and I guess had he never heard somebody say, they won't all make it. That's what Rick said, right? They're not all going to make it back, so just keep moving. And Heath took offense at that, but that's only because he hadn't been with them and been in that situation before.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't think it was that big of a deal that the way he reacted, but Michonne didn't like it very much. So.
Well, she told him that, it's not all peaches and cream outside of Alexandria, and you're going to get blood on you and not be able to tell which is yours and which is your friend's. And by the end of the episode, he's covered in blood and he doesn't know who it belongs to. So that was a nice little callback.
Yeah, well, he knew whose blood it was, but it was his friend's, actually, I'm pretty sure.
But do you think...
But you're right. That's why they did that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that statement also reflects upon the Glenn and Nicholas situation?
Yeah, I suppose somewhat. The writers are so good on this show. I'm sure it's all connected somehow. Like, for example, I thought it was pretty cool how if this was Glenn's demise or whatever, how they used, instead of blatantly hitting you over the head with a pre-death Glenn lament or something, they used this other character, I can't remember the guy's name, but it's the guy whose blood gets on Heath. He has the wife, Betsy. So David, his name's David. I have the same name. I can't remember. Okay. But David, his story kind of parallels and mirrors Glenn's story of how he met Maggie, the David and Betsy story. So David is kind of telling Michonne this story, and it's almost like it's Glenn talking about Maggie, sort of, because Glenn's not going to get the chance to tell that story. So,
oh my gosh, I didn't even make that connection. Like, I was like, why are they showing us this boring dude and his dumb wife? I don't care. But I guess it's like the exact same thing as Glenn and Maggie, because
that was pretty much the sole purpose of that character. I feel like was to do that. Yeah.
like he wants to get back, and he doesn't make it back. Where the same thing is probably true for Glenn.
Yeah, and he told the story of how, and it actually, yeah, it got me in the feels, Catie. That
usually when these red shirt characters come on, they don't have any emotional effect on me whatsoever. But now that I'm looking at it that way, in that it was a way to show
his story got to me when he said the part about finding her in all of this. That was everything. You know, like out of everything that's happened, I mean, finding her, like finding his true love, or finding love in the zombie apocalypse, that meant everything. So he's happy. I mean, he can die. That's what, I mean, you wonder why he's so calm about getting bit, and he's so okay with it. It's like, that's why. It's because he found like the light in the darkness or whatever. So I thought that was cool. I liked it.
Well, that gives David a little more credo than I was giving him before, because I was, it was just a bunch of newbies, and I was like, well, they're all gonna die, and most of them did. Did they all? Oh, the one guy didn't. The bald guy didn't. But he's injured.
The black bald man.
Yeah.
I thought he did. Oh no, they dragged him back.
He made it.
Yeah, they dragged him back into Alexandria.
They dragged his injured ass over that fence. And then Michonne almost didn't make it. Man, if Michonne would have died for that guy, I would have been pissed.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of feel the same about Glenn and Nicholas. I mean,
but that's the thing about how Glenn's stupid, and he brought it on himself. That guy lured him out into the woods and tried to kill him, and Glenn makes it his mission to rehab his soul. I mean, that's stupid. Just look out for yourself and your damn wife if she's so freaking important to you, you know?
Wow. Well said. There you go. You nailed it.
Sorry, Glenn.
Yeah, what else? What else is there?
Well, Rick. Oh, and Daryl. What was Daryl's deal? Why did he turn around? That was stupid.
I was confused about that whole part. I mean, Rick told him to do something, and he was gonna do it, and then he talked to Abraham and Sasha, and they asked him to stay. Is that right? They're like, we kind of need you.
Rick told him to stay.
Oh, Rick told him
that he had it under control. And then Sasha and Abraham also said, yeah, we kind of need you, Daryl. Yeah. And despite everyone telling him not to, he turns around and tries to head back to Alexandria. It's only when Rick gives his little speech about how we're not doing this for ourselves, we're doing this for everyone back in Alexandria, that Daryl finally goes back. Or wait, is it after he hears guns in the RV? He hears someone coming after Rick, so that's why he turns back?
It seemed that way to me, but also why was he heading back to Alexandria? I'm confused about that.
I don't know. I think he was heading back just to help, because he feels like he needs to go back and help, but because he can't keep his focus on the mission, which is driving 5 miles an hour to get the herd away from town. You know, they still have to stay focused on that. But he wants to go back to Alexandria.
That makes sense, because he's Daryl. He wants to be like he wants to be part of the action. He doesn't want to play this. He doesn't want to play this slow driving role in this little plan. Right. Yeah. So it looked like he was hauling ass back to help Rick out. I don't know if I misread that part either.
Yeah, the editing was kind of confusing, but I think he was actually heading back to Alexandria. But then when he heard someone come into the RV and come after Rick, I think he decided he needed to turn back. And I liked the shot, the overhead, the helicopter crane shot of Daryl finally realizing he needs to go back and do his job. And how they didn't show close-ups on the characters or anything. They just showed from above the motorcycle going back with the car and everything. Yeah. That was
That was a good shot. And it pretty much communicated that he was reconnecting with those guys, right? To help out.
Yeah, he's not just one person. He's part of a team. So they don't need to focus. Yeah.
He's merging with the team. Yes.
He's merging.
Very good. Very good. What else?
But yeah, Rick looks like he's in some shit though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's in trouble with what another half of the other half of the horde or something? What it just, or is it just a bunch
It
of
looks like a
zombies?
big chunk of the horde is about to descend upon his RV, but do you think they'll go for the fresh
Freshly
bodies
killed.
that Rick just killed?
I mean, I imagine that's where they'll start. That'll buy him some time. I mean, these characters have been in a lot trickier situations and gotten out of it. I think he'll be okay. I really don't see them killing off Rick in any fashion. So
right after they killed Glenn off, then who's on the show? What is it, Daryl's show? I mean, I love him, but
he's a side character. He's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like how the situation with Rick kind of trapped in an RV or a van type thing calls back to the very first episode where he's stuck in with the dead soldier around him, and that's when he hears Glenn on the radio say, "Hey, dumbass."
Yeah.
Whatever.
Which is what he says to him in this episode, right?
Yeah, he says, "Good luck, dumbass."
Yeah.
But another hint that Glenn's probably dead, or at least that's the last time he talks to Rick.
Yeah. I mean, see, the more I think about it, the more it does seem like Glenn's dead, because like the thing I said about David's story about his wife connecting or sort of being Glenn's goodbye story about her. You know, why would they do that? Why would they have this character do that if it wasn't for Glenn dying? Also, like you said, the throwback to the very beginning, the dumbass throwback, also doesn't.
And him being stuck in that situation.
Yeah, and that too. The parallels there don't bode well for Glenn being alive. Now that I think about it more, I guess I'm in denial, Catie. I'm in denial.
Everybody is. Have you seen every website? Like literally, even like a celebrity news website. Like maybe your favorite Walking Dead character might not be dead. Like every website is saying that Glenn might not be dead, and I don't know who started it. I mean, obviously the shot was designed to make you think there's a small chance he might not be dead. But if you didn't have all these outside influences, if you didn't have Twitter talking to you and the Talking Dead, and you were just watching the show, you thought he was dead.
Yeah.
I did. You did. Right?
Yeah, I did. And yeah, I don't know. It does seem like he's dead now. But it would be cool. It's kind of cool of the show to, in a way, as much as you were saying, it's kind of annoying. It's kind of cool how they're getting the audience to like be so attached to the character in the show that they're literally in denial about it. Like they can't accept it. And then, you know, in the next couple of weeks, if he is dead, we have to. Where it's like they're really getting us to grieve almost like for real over a character on TV shows. So that's
maybe they're doing us a kindness and saying, you know, this is probably going to happen. So when Glenn actually dies, it won't be as bad. But what's going to happen when, like, I mean, I guess you don't get much bigger than Glenn. Who's bigger than Glenn? Just Carol and Daryl and Rick?
Yeah, I mean, when I said to somebody I was watching the show with that Glenn was a top 5 character, because the person I was watching the show with had never seen it before. So
what a way to ruin it for them.
Yeah, I know. I was like, picked a bad episode to show them for the first one. But anyways, yeah, I said Glenn was a top 5 character, and I was thinking, yeah, like who else is a little higher? I'm like, well, there's Rick, there's Daryl, there's Carol, there's Carl, I guess, has to count in there, and maybe Michonne, and Glenn is maybe number 5. Glenn's maybe higher than number 5. So
yeah, but even Michonne didn't come along till end of season 2.
Exactly. Yeah, she worked her way into that spot immediately.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I'm sure someone can come along to, you know, that's the beauty of The Walking Dead is you get new characters all the time. Sometimes they don't work, but sometimes they are able to fill that little gap. You know, who from season 1 is even around anymore besides those people we mentioned? And we're, you know, it's okay. It's still a good show. So
Yeah, they do a really good job of constantly bringing in interesting new characters to kind of fill the void as the old ones go out, new ones come in to take their place.
It's a circle of life.
Yeah, it's just how it works. They do a good job of it, so it's cool.
Yes, they do.
Well, anything else you want to talk about?
No, I mean, I think we needed to spend most of our time talking about Glenn because this could be his final hurrah, so.
Yeah, and I think we did hit the other important points of the episode, so I think we're good.
Yeah.
We'll be doing
next week is all about Morgan, I think. Is that right? A flashback for Morgan?
I don't know. I don't remember the preview at all. I really don't. So, yeah, you tell me.
Yeah, someone told me we're not going to skin those, I guess. So.
We're not going to what?
We're not going to see what happened with Rick and Glenn and everyone for 2 weeks.
Oh, no, really?
No, 3 weeks, because next week will be Morgan, and then the next week will be back to Alexandria, and then they'll go back to Glenn and what's left of Glenn and Rick and Daryl and everybody.
Oh my God, that sucks.
Well, they've got like they're split up again, so they have to
jump around. That out.
And they do want to show Morgan's backstory, or what he's been doing. So.
Yeah, I suppose that's cool. All right, well, that's probably what we'll be talking about next week then.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next week when we talk about episode 4 of season 6. So thanks for watching. See you next time. Toodles.
Have a good night.